How's everybody doing? Good to see you. Here it is, Thursday, June 18th, and we're all having a good old time. I am going to be with you for the next hour. Tonight, you will know exactly where you're going the moment, and I have to go over to my audio, the moment you hear this. Absolutely. Do you remember that from the 90s? That's how we would get on the internet, right? And we were talking at the very beginning. I was doing a little pre-show over there on the Tick and the Talk. And so there was 14.4, as I recall. I would love to, there's Scott just said, hey, dial-up modems. Scott, do you remember 14.4 and 28.8? Is that what we had? Yes, AOL. And David is driving home right now, and he's not texting and driving. That's very good. Dial-up modems for sure. Was Chevy Chase really a jerk? Well, only to certain people. I should close this. I'm ruining the whole backdrop here. My goodness. Oh, here you go. 14.4 and 28.8. Oh, and 56K. Okay, we're going to be talking about that in a little bit as well. But yeah, that was the sound that you would hear. So we're going to be talking about how we all got on the internet in the 1990s, the various ways, and later, two very completely different voices, same person, one wardrobe change. So stay with me on that. But starting off tonight, a little something that I shared bits and pieces of online this week in my posts on social. This piece aired in NBC's Today Show, March 30th, 2007. It was called The Unseen Voices of Hollywood. Let's take a look at it. It's only like about 4 minutes.
They are the hardest working folks in Hollywood. Trouble is, you just can't place their faces. But there's no mistaking the voices. NBC's Michael Oku has more.
Do you know who these guys are? Chances are you don't have a clue.
You look like that guy from the Cipriano.
Is this Quentin Tarantino?
No one knows their faces, but you live with them. On your TV, your car radio, at the movies.
An all-new 24.
Peter Pan Platinum Edition.
An all-new Lincoln Heights. When tragedy strikes a family.
They're the voices in your head.
When you're in a movie theater, it's almost as if your seatmate is leaning in and whispering to you and telling you about this wonderful story.
The clues don't come from a ghost.
Joe Cipriano is a voiceover artist.
Take an all-new look at the life of TV's most beloved character. Oh! And it all starts now.
His office, through the magic of technology, right here in his Beverly Hills home, where he puts in a full day's work all over the country.
On an all-new medium.
Not so long ago, the voiceover world was dominated by a few network greats like NBC's Danny Dark.
Bonanza, brought to you by Chevrolet.
And ABC's Ernie Anderson.
Herman Wouk's The Winds of War.
They were the voice of God type voices.
Until, that is, God reinvented himself.
He became a true champion in his search for the real story.
He is the Don. He is the guy.
Once in a lifetime, something comes along that changes
Don LaFontaine's voice has been the staple of movie trailers, promos, and ads for more than 4 decades.
He is Special Agent John Kruger. The greatest threat is making a world of difference.
You may have heard him recently shilling for Geico.
When the storm hit, both our cars were totally underwater.
In a world where both of our cars were totally underwater.
The reason that we started originally was, you know, you're taking an entire group of people, a whole audience, and you are going to now very quickly transport them into another time frame.
In a city where anything can happen.
the old cliches, of course, in a world and in a place and in a time and all that, which everybody jokes about, in a world, and everybody laughs.
Right.
But when you're in a theater, nobody laughs.
And if you think anyone can do this, think again.
Tonight on Deal or No Deal, one person has the chance to win $1 million.
Tonight on Deal or No Deal, one person has one chance.
The words are the key. What we do with the words is our own little thing, but the words are the key. And what those words mean and what they imply and what they invite and what they urge.
Finally releasing from the Disney Vault.
Mark Elliott is the unmistakable voice of Disney.
Walt Disney's magical classic that taught us to believe, only for a limited time.
On the new CW.
But listen and watch the antics of movie trailer and primetime voice George DeLoya.
I always say it's not my voice that I'm worried about, it's my arms, because without my arms I can't speak, you know.
An all-new Lincoln Heights. A manhunt leads to all-out war.
I actually can see the words in front of me, and I shorten them and lengthen them.
American Idol at 8/7 Central.
As long as he can remember, mumble never quite fit in.
Almost as if you're conducting yourself.
Being a voice isn't as simple as it looks.
In a world where the walls are closing in,
It takes talent to be consistent and convincing.
one man will prevail through trial and error.
The ones who hit it big can make millions.
Payback. This time, it's for real.
Michael Oku, he's back.
He's back. He's back.
The day he came back.
For today.
For today.
For today,
Michael Oku, NBC News, Los Angeles.
And we'll be back with more of Today, right after this. In a World Gone Mad.
All right. That's a great piece. And, obviously, two of those very talented guys are no longer with us. Don LaFontaine, who passed first, and then Mark Elliott. I've been talking about Mark this week in my social media. Mark was such a great guy. And what I mentioned in social media this week is that when I came to Hollywood, when Ann and I, my wife and I came to Hollywood, she was in television. I was in radio and hoping to be a network promo voice. I wasn't quite sure what that was, but I was learning as I was going. And I finagled my way into CBS. I got a phone number of a writer-producer. I called them at TVC City, and I said, I want to work in the industry. I'm a voiceover artist. I don't know how promos are put together. Can I just come in and watch? I'll just stand in the back of the room. And this guy was so wonderful. I don't even have a name of this gentleman. But he did something for me that was so wonderful because I was able to come in and watch and see how these things, were done, how promos were recorded. And I was amazed back then. And actually, so that was like 1981. I started at CBS 17 years later, 1997. And the room that I was in was the same room 17 years later. It was antiquated, very different from I had been at Fox, which was had gone digital by 1997. CBS was still analog. But being in that room and watching Mark Elliott, Mark was the comedy voice of the CBS network at the time. And I knew him from radio. He and I never worked together in radio. He worked at KHJ, which was the biggest radio station in Los Angeles. Eventually, I worked at Kiss FM that, years and years later became the #1 radio station. But KHJ is legendary. Mark was the midday guy. And we got to know each other. And so from 1981 until he passed, probably in 2020, maybe, we were good friends. It was a complicated relationship in some ways. I loved him dearly. But of course, in 1997, when I got hired at CBS, Mark was still the comedy voice, and I replaced him. So that was a tough pill to swallow. We've all had that in the voiceover world, where somebody comes in and takes your gig. But guess what? That allowed Mark more time to then be the legendary voice of Disney and Disney DVD and all that he did that probably you guys in the 90s know so much more, are so much more familiar with. That's very sweet, John. It brings tears to my eyes when I hear his voice. You know what? It does the same for me. And I also heard about the voice of Disney Channel, not Mark, but a guy named Cam Buzz Brainerd. Yeah, I've heard of Cam. I think he was a radio guy as well. I don't think I ever really knew him. I don't know if he was in LA. He might have been somewhere else. But yes, I've heard that name a few times. But yeah, Mark Elliott was a special guy. And then in later years, he and I were in a movie together that was written, produced, directed, starring the one and only Lake Bell. And she is amazing. She cast both Mark and I in her movie In a World. If you have not seen In a World, run, don't walk to see it. It's a hilarious comedy with all of her cast people, her improv people that she's been with for years and years and years. And she brought them all into the movie. And I remember auditioning for her. And this will be a story for another time. Very supportive of voiceover people. The movie is about who is going to take over the mantle of saying In a World, and that's the name of the movie, from Don LaFontaine after he passed. And it's a great movie and very funny. It's not a documentary. It's a comedy and hilarious. I did know Mark Driscoll. We worked together at Kiss FM. Mark was a very good friend, very supportive of our Don LaFontaine Voiceover Lab. He came to a lot of our fundraisers and a great guy. And here's Scott saying that In a World was a fun movie. So thank you for that. So, yeah. So let me just say welcome to Joe Cipriano's 1990s Be Kind and Rewind VHS playback party. My name is Joe Cipriano, and throughout the 1990s, I was the comedy voice of the Fox network. Two stories tonight. First, the sound that changed the world, and then the story of three networks and one man, and how I became two completely different people. So convincingly, even my own agents were fooled, and many of my best friends. But first, let us go back to that sound I played at the very beginning, the dial-up sound, getting into the internet, before the internet that we have today that's so easy. Back in the 1990s, we needed landline phones. What else was there? Blockbuster, TV Guide. Do you remember TV Guide? Wow. I mean, a TV Guide was kind of like the phone book of television. And by the way, if you missed an episode of a show, you missed it. No pause, no rewind, no streaming later until at some point VHS came in. 90s items that are on an iPhone today. I love this. You got to take a look at this picture. I bet you guys have seen this before. So everything in that picture back in the 90s is now in your iPhone. There's a music player. There's a video camera, a still camera, a remote, a clock, stopwatch. Oh yeah, a Kindle. And look at that red phone. How cool is that? You know, I have to say, copper wires were pretty good. Making that transition to cell phones. If you remember back in the 90s and into the early 2000s, echo, delays, it was really hard to talk on a phone. But so that's how things have changed. All those items had to be on your person separately if you wanted to use those. And of course, now they're in your iPhone. And then somewhere around the mid 1990s, people started talking about something called the internet, and nobody really knew what it was. It was kind of confusing. Online back in the day, going way back to the 20s. If you said I'm online, that meant you were in New York City and you were standing in line to go into a play. People in New York always said I'm online. People on the West Coast always said I'm in line. It was just a thing. Email, websites. What are these words? They meant nothing to most people. And then how about the @ symbol that was throwing a lot of people off, because they really didn't know what the heck it was, including, this is a great piece, you've probably seen it before, including Bryant Gumbel on NBC, Katie Couric. This is 1994 on the Today Show.
56 pass. I wasn't prepared to translate that as I was doing that little tease.
Oh, that's
that little mark with the A and then the ring around it. See, that's what I said. Katie said she thought it was about.
Yeah. Oh.
But I'd never heard it. I'd never heard it said. I'd always seen the mark, but never heard it said. And then it sounded stupid when I said it. Violence at NBC.
I heard be around
big fight up in the lunchroom the other week.
There it is. Violence at NBC. GE.com. I mean,
well, Allison should know.
What is internet anyway?
Internet is that
massive computer network.
The one that's becoming really big now.
What do you mean? That's big. How does one? What do you write to it like mail?
No, a lot of people use it and communicate. I guess they can communicate with NBC writers and producers. Allison, can you explain what internet is?
No, she can't say anything in 10 seconds or less.
Oh, Allison will be in the studio shortly.
What
does it mean?
It's a giant computer network made up of started from.
Oh, I thought you were going to tell us what this was.
It's like a computer billboard.
It's not in there. It's a computer billboard, but it's nationwide, and it's several universities and everything all joined together.
Right.
And others can access it.
And it's getting bigger and bigger all the time.
It came in really handy during the quake. A lot of people, that's how they were communicating out to tell family and loved ones they were okay because all the phone lines were down.
I was telling Katie, and I've been
talking. You don't need that. You don't need a phone line to operate internet.
No.
You don't need a phone line. Well, how do you connect? Just out of thin air. So that was 1994. Okay. Even the journalists were confused by the @ symbol and what that meant and what a website address, they didn't even know to say .nbc.com. Nobody knew how much this was about to change the world. So in the comments, oh gosh, I've been ignoring the comments. I'm sorry. Please talk about your experiences. When were you first on the internet? Okay. When did you get in there and start using it? And let's see what we have here. Watching while doing my radio show here in the Philippines. Love to listen to your promos. Very inspiring. So as with Jeff McNeil. Yes, Jeff McNeil's a great guy. Another promo voice. Gosh, I haven't talked to Jeff in quite a while. Troy Rudder. Hello, Troy. I was thrilled when I got my 14.4 baud modem. Good for you for remembering the word baud. I love that. Even going from 1200 to 2400 baud was an upgrade. Yeah, that's absolutely true. The world has changed absolutely since the 1990s. MSNBC debuted 30 years ago on cable, and now, of course, it's just MS, right? No more NBC. We're going to talk about that, David. Don't get ahead of me, all right? Slow down. We're coming up to that. So let's talk about how we got on the internet in the 90s. Prodigy, like David just said, CompuServe, AOL. First, there was CompuServe. As I recall, the way that I experienced getting on the internet, I was on CompuServe first, which we accessed via a dial-up, and we were able to post on message boards about specific topics. So I remember, I think I was in a radio message board, maybe a voiceover message board. I'm not so sure if there was such a thing there, but they were, like I said earlier, it was a black screen. a blinking cursor. It was DOS, and that's all that was there, and so you would go on there and you'd be able to chat with other people. Now, as I recall, I'd love to hear in the comments, I don't think it was a live chat. I think you would post it, and then it was almost like it was asynchronous, and then somebody would post back. But I don't think there was a lot of live stuff going on. There were no graphics, no color on CompuServe. It just looked like a black screen. I even remember my user ID was like a long string of numbers. And that's how you logged in, like 731952239576. Oh, I just gave out my CompuServe login information. I don't think that's very good. Let's take a look at a CompuServe commercial.
If you own a computer, here's how to get the most out of it without buying lots of expensive software. Get ready to write down a phone number and watch this. CompuServe combines the power of your computer with the convenience of your telephone to bring you hundreds of online services, like a complete set of encyclopedias and the AP Newswire. It helps you decide on investments, bank, make airline reservations, and shop in the electronic mall. It connects you with other computer owners and offers games that pit you against opponents around the country. You get all this and more, and it's as simple as making a local phone call. To get online with CompuServe and over 250,000 people throughout North America, see your local computer store or call 1-800-543-8000 to order direct or to receive a free illustrated guide to CompuServe. Call now to get the most out of your computer.
Wow, JHen6612 says he met his wife in a chat room on AOL in the 90s. Wow. You were definitely an early adopter, and you really were into it. Congratulations. Are you guys still together? So the first door into this world, before most of America even knew the door existed, and then there was, after CompuServe, and I really use CompuServe a lot. I remember having it in my home studio in Pacific Palisades back in the 90s, being able to log on, and sharing information and stories with friends. It was pretty cool. But then after CompuServe came Prodigy.
Prodigy. You gotta get this thing.
I don't know how I did without it.
And I'm doing this stocks. I never played stocks in my life.
You want to know about your bank? Boom, boom, bingo.
I'm making money.
You're making money.
With this finger, John. This finger.
Yes, it saves me a lot of time.
I mean, you can even get the scores before the paper does.
While the game's in progress.
What's that? Baseball scores? We got 'em.
Prodigy is the online service that connects your computer to news, shopping, sports, and now an encyclopedia. All for only $12.95 per month.
All right. Prodigy. Great service.
You gotta get this thing.
Prodigy.
Stores everywhere.
Wow, big advances there, color graphics. And again, I just said, I remembered, my CompuServe login was just a long string of numbers. The Prodigy login was something like NCGP 8594, something like that. And I think you were assigned that, when you bought the software, and it came on a floppy disk that you would then load into your computer. And so Prodigy was a really a big deal. For me, I thought that was a huge step. Let's take a look at another Prodigy ad.
Did you get a computer recently? Well, congratulations. You can now join hundreds of thousands who've discovered Prodigy, a service that has hundreds of practical uses, hundreds of things to enjoy. Connect Prodigy to your computer and get stock quotes almost as fast as a broker. Play educational games, get sports scores faster than on TV. Shop at home. Discover all you can do for just $9.95 a month on Prodigy. Finally, what the PC was invented for. See it at a dealer near you.
Yeah, it was a huge change. And yeah, David, the greatest thing was, wow, we could see live scores, and you could also, check the stock market. Oh, okay. So here's JHen6612 talking about his wife. She was in California. I was in Kentucky. No longer together, but met my new lady on a dating app. Wow, the internet has been big for you. Huge. You wouldn't be able to date without it. Holy crap. And David says, I did meet my first girlfriend on AOL. You know, you guys are out of control. Calm down. Okay, so after Prodigy came, any guesses? What's next? What is next in this world of computers and online connectivity? Well, you've already said it, David. It's AOL, of course. The CD in the mail, 100 free hours. The whole family gathered around the computer, plugged in with that phone line when, you would hear that dial-up sound again. I mean, it's worth playing one more time. How many times did we hear this? And it was so normal. Oh, and how many times did your mother pick up the phone when you were connected? You go, Mom, I'm online. Mom, I'm on the computer. I was just talking to this girl in Kentucky. She wants to meet me. Oh, okay. And that sound is why we call this segment You've Got Nostalgia. AOL came at a time when we wanted to be able to do something with a home computer. I remember having what was the first computer that I had? You could write programs for it, and the programs would be stored on cassettes. And I can't even remember what that was. But yeah, Troy, welcome. You've got mail. Did you know that on air in English means no R in Brazilian Portuguese? I didn't, and I still don't. Someone would pick up while you're online. Yes, it would be your mother. Mom, I'm online. I'm about to meet this girl. Oh God, Radio Shack. What a great addition to this conversation. Do you remember going to Radio Shack? Good gosh. Wow. Yeah, the Commodore PET. I think maybe I had a Commodore 64. Maybe that's what the first one was. But so now that AOL came out, it kind of made it friendly and finally kind of useful. And of course, it really was the first step of being able to send messages across the internet to friends. It was exciting when you received messages called email from a friend. How thrilled were you when you logged on to AOL and you heard you've got mail, along with another grouping of songs, which I played earlier. I want to play this for you. Here it is right here. Kind of the sweetest sounds that you could hear coming down the line on AOL.
Welcome. You've got mail. You've got pictures. File's done. Goodbye.
I love that they had a door open so that you're on AOL, and now you're leaving AOL. Those sounds, the door closing. You've got mail, the goodbye. It opened up so much to us. It felt futuristic. And by the way, I spoke on the pre-show over on TikTok before we started at 8 o'clock Eastern about that guy who did the voiceover. His wife worked at AOL. I was in an article. They picked 3 voices, me as the voice of Fox, him as the voice of AOL, and I can't remember what the third one was, but I have it somewhere. If I can find it, I'll bring it up next week. It was another voice that was very well known. And he confessed that, I don't even think he was really a voiceover guy at the time, but she was working at AOL. They needed these things to be a part of the sign-on, all of the signaling within AOL. And he said, hey, your husband has a nice voice. Can we record him? And he recorded it. And apparently, from this article that I read, it goes way back, he was not paid anything more than $100, $200, whatever it was, to do the recording session. And, hey, thanks, Biff. Here you go. And then it was used forever. I mean, and it's in our minds and in our lives. So AOL being futuristic, it capitalized on that feeling with this 1990s commercial that made us feel like, we were in the future. Do you remember the Jetsons?
Can you believe what's possible these days? Travel arrangements right from your own computer. Instant stock quotes. All the things you find only on the world's most popular internet online service, now more affordable than ever. It's like living in the future. The future, now available on America Online.
Wow. You know what? That gave me just enough time to run to the refrigerator and get a Snapple. All right. So there you have it. I was a very early adopter to CompuServe, Prodigy, and especially AOL. I was so early that my email address on AOL was only 3 letters. Isn't that cool? I'd like to hear in the comments if anybody else was early enough on AOL to have a 1, 2, or 3 letter email address. Mine was SIP, which is my nickname, CIP, SIP at AOL.com. And at the time, I signed up my whole family. My daughter, Dana, was Dana SIP, Alex SIP, Ann SIP. We were all on there. We all had these really easy, cool email addresses. And by the way, they're still active. If you want to drop me a line at SIP at AOL.com, eventually I'll get to it. It's not something that's on my iPhone that I check daily. I still have some speakers from Radio Shack that work. Wow. I'm sure you do. I always cracked up at the AOL commercial. A friend said, try American Online. I said, why? I have a computer. Okay, I don't quite understand that. You've Got Mail was so important to me. Of course it was. I mean, you were connected. It was a big deal to be able to be connected to the world, And the only problem was back then the internet was extremely slow. You click on a page and then you go out and you make a sandwich, and then you come back and it's still loading. Remember Ask Jeeves? There was something called GeoCities, Alta Vista. Do you guys remember any of those? I barely do. I know Ask Jeeves. I thought that was kind of a cool idea. It was, an early Google. By the way, what was the search engine before Google? Does anybody remember how we would search something on the internet before Google? Yeah, that commercial does seem like it's weird. Alta Vista was one of the first search engines. Oh, well, there you go. You've answered my question, Troy. Thank you very much. There's one of the first search engines before Google. I had a website on GeoCities. Really? That's cool. Oh, so did Scott. A couple of people did. Web crawler? Was that a search engine? Excite and Alta Vista were the most popular, and Ask Jeeves. And that's the one that I really remember because I thought it was so cool. It's like, Jeeves. Hello, Jeeves. Can you help me out? I need you to find something for me. But in any case, with, all of these, we thought at the time it was pretty revolutionary. And it was. And you couldn't use the phone, of course, when you were online. Same line. As I mentioned earlier, mom picks up the phone to call grandma, and your connection is gone. And you're in the middle of 45 minutes of downloading something, and it's destroyed in 1 second. And let's spend a couple of minutes on the invention that defined the end of the 1990s, music sharing via a program called Napster. Napster pitted record companies against consumers, and for the most part, musical artists versus consumers. Napster, at the time, was a brilliant idea. The only problem I had with it is it was stealing musicians, creative people. It was stealing their soul. Okay, and you have to pay for creativity. You have to support creativity. It was a brilliant idea, and obviously it evolved, and then came the Apple Music, which then compensates musicians and artists. Some say not enough. Of course, record companies were losing their what about Napster, because it was so easy to just download music without having to go to the record store. No more, like all that money that the record companies made for the CD boxes, the artwork, again, more artistic, creative work, all of those things that needed to be done to sell music to consumers were no longer necessary. You could just download an MP3. I remember when we realized in voiceover that we could use MP3s to send our work. We used to send our work to producers, radio stations, TV stations via FedEx. We'd burn it on a disc, right? Or put it on a floppy, if you want to go way back. Or, on cassette. DAT. We'd put it on DAT tape and send it overnight FedEx. And then we realized, wow, we can use this MP3 technology that Napster has, kind of brought to the broad public. So Napster was a brilliant idea in an era of the internet that was kind of just cobbled together, right? Held together by what seemed like duct tape and elastic bands. Napster allowed everyone to get any song you could think of for free. It could take hours to download it, but it was free. The interface was crude, but it worked. You could choose from all different quality versions of the song. You could see like a 44.1, la, 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 and download. Of course, the quality of it affected the download time. It would take longer for something that was better quality. But the most amazing thing about Napster was the music resided on everyone's own computer. So you were the server. Everybody who was part of Napster was file sharing from their computer. If somebody selected a song that's on your computer, it's going to be uploading from your computer to their computer. So if you wanted Rock On by my buddy Michael Damian, you can select which version you wanted. Do you want like the high quality one or just something to get by on? And it would be delivered from someone's computer somewhere in America to your computer. It was a shared database. Pretty crazy. Here is a short news story I thought that was interesting about Napster.
Nearly 25 years ago, the way we accessed our favorite tunes changed overnight. A music revolution sandwiched between the easy streaming we're used to today and the act of purchasing tapes and CDs that came before it. And it all started with one company. Before 1999, the idea of sitting at your computer, typing in any song, and immediately being able to download it for free was unfathomable. But that is exactly what Napster offered us. The first digital audio sharing application that, at its peak, had 80 million registered users. Before it came along, we were used to the effort, the cost, and the waiting associated with buying music in the store. Napster not only gave us access to all of that with a couple of clicks, you could also find unreleased music, concert bootlegs, and a lot more. MP3 soon became part of our vernacular. And as our new and free digital libraries grew, so did frustration from record labels who were losing significant sales to the service. Lawsuit after lawsuit was thrown at the company, including one from heavy metal band Metallica that accused Napster of copyright infringement. Following a major ruling against the company in court, Napster was forced to shut down its service in 2001. But it really was too late. The damage, or if you want to call it reform, had already happened, and we'd never go back to the old way of doing things.
Yeah, that's true, huh? Absolutely. I remember telling my daughter, Dana, back then, who was probably a preteen, that we really shouldn't download artists' work without paying for it because it was stealing their creative work. But she really, but Dad, all these songs, and yes, I know, and I could see, you could see the future, you could see where this is going. The record companies are losing their, you know what, and I finally agreed. Okay, you can download music into your personal computer. She had one of those iMacs. I can't remember if she had a purple one. Remember those really colorful iMacs for a while there in the 90s? And you could listen to it there, but you can't burn it to a CD or put it on, I don't know, did we have Discman then? I guess we probably did. And I said, you can't do that, but you can listen to it in your computer when you're in your room. So the world was moving ridiculously fast, but our internet connection was still slow and dial-up until 1993. This is something from my world of voiceover. There's a company called Telos. The Telos Zephyr was introduced in 1993. In my kind of work, from 1988 to 1993, you didn't go anywhere. You couldn't leave. You couldn't go on a long vacation because if you did, you weren't available to do that voiceover booking. Here I was, the voice of Fox. If I leave, well, gosh, there are countless promos that we're recording every single day, 6 days a week. And if I'm not there, that means they have to hire somebody else to voice the spot. And frankly, that's how I got the job. I think I told you a couple of weeks ago, there was a voice at Fox, kind of a temporary, they weren't really happy with this voice, who demanded to go on vacation. I guess he'd been working too hard. He said, I need a 2-week vacation. And they said, all right, if that's what you want to do. And I was brought in to do the voice of the promos while he was gone because they needed to be done. I mean, the promos have to be done. So you didn't take vacations. You would never do that. You could be the most confident person in the world, but don't give your employer a chance to audition new and different voices while you're on a beach drinking pina coladas in Hawaii. I'm sorry. You know what? Go up to Malibu during the day, and you could bring a pina colada in a cooler, So in 1993, this company called Telos invented a piece of equipment that was called, well, it was a codec, okay? That attached to a specific phone line called either switched 56 or ISDN. And it could send digitized voice over these special phone lines. What that codec did is you speak into the mic. It goes into the box. It turns it into numbers. It sends it down this ISDN line to another box that receives it, takes the numbers, turns them back into voice, and it spills out, okay? I bought one of the first ones to come off the assembly line when I read about it, and I got Fox to buy one as well. So now, with the Telos Zephyr, my recording sessions could be done from anywhere. No need for the talent to be at the network in person anymore, although we still went in for years. But we use the ISDN, the Telos Zephyr, to do our late night sessions from home. But what also happened for me, once I put in a couple of these ISDN lines in my house, in Pacific Palisades was that I realized you could also use these ISDN lines to connect to the internet at speeds that were, 10 times or more faster than the dial-up. So big bonus there. And that was the beginning of high-speed internet. It wasn't that great. I think it was 64K or whatever it was, but it was faster. And then slowly, without anyone noticing, the internet became irreplaceable in our lives, where commercials would say, visit us at www.fox.com. Having a website meant you were serious. I got my website right away in the early 1990s, www.joecipriano.com. And, back then you would think, well, I have to have a theme. What am I going to do? And I remember mine being a beach theme, with palm trees and things like that and demos of my work. What does Scott say here? ISDN lines in Telos was no doubt a game changer for the VO community. Absolutely. And ISDN for sure. Yeah, no doubt about it. A big game changer for all of us, So the world was about to change, and we had no idea. Fast forward to today, we carry it in our pockets, and the fact that you and I are here right now together, and I'm speaking to you live from my studio in my beautiful VHS library, which somebody noticed that I have an awful lot of wrestling videos. I didn't even know that right here. So there you go. And so thankfully for the internet, we can be together on Thursday nights. Now, speaking of things not being what they seemed, while all of that was quietly changing the world, I was going through my own quiet transformation as the voice of Fox, the comedy voice. This transformation was something even my own agents and some of my close friends didn't see coming. We're moving into the second segment of the show tonight for the next 10 minutes or so. The Fox years, by the mid-1990s, I'd been the comedy voice of Fox for the decade, voicing all of the promos for The Simpsons and Married with Children, these great shows, In Living Color, Family Guy, Futurama. I mean, wonderful, wonderful comedies that I love.
Sunday, catch a classic episode of The Simpsons. An all-new Futurama. Now from Simpsons creator Matt Groening, an all-new Futurama on Fox. Tomorrow, guess who's running Springfield's new monorail?
Stick your head out the window, boy. It's the greatest.
An all-new Simpsons. It's the smash hit that batters the competition.
Somebody call 911.
So take a breather.
Herbert. Oh, don't flatter yourself, honey. I don't have any sweat glands.
It's a night of all-new episodes, starting at 8/7 Central, Fox Sunday. The Simpsons are moving back to where it all began.
Are we there yet? No! Are we there yet? No!
Sundays at 8/7 Central, beginning this Sunday.
Woohoo!
First, catch a classic episode of The Simpsons.
Cool!
Fox's Funny Sunday starts this Sunday at 7/6 Central. Who shot Mr. Burns?
Okay, boys, we've got a clue.
And everyone's a suspect.
But I could never shoot someone. Could not. Could not.
As far as Daddy's concerned, you're both potential murderers.
Don't miss the season premiere of The Simpsons, Sunday on Fox. Fox presents a Simpsons Sunday Spectacular. First, see the season finale that shocked the nation. Then join John Walsh and celebrity experts for a look at who shot Mr. Burns on Springfield's Most Wanted. Then it's the mystery you've waited all summer long to solve. Bart has a job?
The sludge certainly collects donuts. Right, old sludge, you bat.
Catch an all-new Simpsons.
Ow.
Then, Brenda and Brandon's friends are throwing them a surprise party. An all-new 90210 Thursday. And you'll never guess why.
We're going back to Minneapolis.
Minneapolis?
Brandon's getting a present he'll never forget.
I want goodbye to be a moment we both remember.
But before their last goodbye, there's a secret that has to come out. An all-new 90210 Thursday.
About that. Energetic, fun, attitude in 30 seconds or less. Every day, I just loved it. And then in 1997, one of our executives in marketing at Fox was hired away by CBS. His name is Ron Scalera. Ron's sadly no longer with us. He passed away way too young. So he was brought over to CBS because at that time, Les Moonves, boy, these names, had decided after watching what was going on at Fox and how this programming for a younger audience was really, really doing well. And CBS at the time, was running all of these, they used to call them blue-haired lady shows. Their demos were very, very old. And Les knew that didn't have legs and that it was time to young up the network. And part of that, so now he's going to work with producers, bring in young new producers to come up with new shows. But how do you market this? You really can't market it with the people that we've been using up until now for this demographic that really they don't understand. So he hires Ron Scalera from Fox, who was brilliant guy. And he goes over there and he turns around all of their marketing. But after his first couple of weeks there, he called me and he said, Joe, I'm looking for voices, for all of our new programming. And we're obviously going after a younger demo. Every time I pop in a demo, I'm hoping that it's going to sound like you, and it never does. So then I thought today, why don't I hire you? And I thought, I think that's a great idea, Ron. And suddenly, I was the comedy voice of two networks, Fox and CBS, bouncing back and forth from Fox Film Lot, which was over on Pico Boulevard on the west side of Los Angeles, and the really cool CBS Television City in West Hollywood, where, I grew up watching the Carol Burnett Show, all of these shows that originated from Fox Television City. So you got The Simpsons on Fox. I'm doing that promo. I'm doing Everybody Loves Raymond on CBS. In Living Color on Fox. King of Queens on CBS. Family Guy on Fox. 2.5 Men on CBS. Futurama on Fox. The Nanny on CBS. And if you're in the car, you flip around the radio dial and you'd hear my voice on a Fox spot and then my voice on the next spot right after that on a CBS spot. It was unusual. And I had to pinch myself. Can this even be real that this is happening? How is anybody allowing this to happen? Fox even tried to lock me into an exclusive. They said to my agent at the time, Rita, he can't be doing this. He can't do that. And she goes, well, yes, he can do that. Unless you want to put him under an exclusive and we can come up with, contract terms for that. And they said, oh, well, let's not get crazy. All right. So, and they backed off. And for me, it was pure joy. I thought I had some, here we go. The Fox, no. Oh, well, anyhow, I thought I had some Fox radio spots in here, but I don't see them at the moment. I did this last week too. I thought I had put something in and it's not there, but it's pretty much what I was just talking about, going back from Fox to CBS and so forth. So I worked at both networks well into the 2000s at the same time. But then one day, and I won't get into the full story, we could save that for another time. It has to do with Les Moonves. I lost CBS. Ron, my buddy Ron Scalera, called me and said, Joe, I can't believe I'm telling you this, but we can't use you anymore because of something that had happened. Les had heard my voice on something that was my voice shouldn't have been on it. It was, a stupid mix up. And so Les said something like, let's see, how did he put it? I never want to hear him on my air again. Okay, well, there you go. And by the way, I was back within 2 years. But at that time, it was a huge wake-up call because, I was working both networks, right? And guess what? I got kind of comfortable. It's like, I work at Fox and I work at CBS, and I could do this for the rest of my life. Well, guess what? You can't, because there are other factors involved. I thought that I could keep doing that, so I wasn't so proactive at looking at a lot of different jobs. I was really busy doing 2 networks, and that was a mistake. I learned, completely changed that. Now the way I handle my career, and I tell people coming into it, is to diversify. Work in as many different genres as you can, as many different income streams as you can, because if you lose one, it doesn't hurt as much. So I lost CBS. And this happened very quickly. Within a few weeks, a friend of mine, George DeLoyo, who I just mentioned, who was in the Today Show piece, we were at a friend's movie premiere, My Date with Drew. My friend Brett Wynn was the director, writer, producer. Cool movie. If you could look it up, My Date with Drew. 2 movies tonight. In a World, Lake Bell, My Date with Drew. Look them both up. We were at the in Hollywood at the premiere of My Date with Drew, and George said, "Hey, did you get that audition? NBC's looking for a drama voice." I'm like, "Well, no, I didn't." And I learned later it's because, well, my agent had me peg-holed, and that's okay as a comedy voice. He said, "Yeah, they're looking for a drama voice." And I had never done drama in my life. So I thought, well, half my income's gone. How about if I go after this drama thing at NBC? So I didn't have anything that represented drama, me doing drama. So I went into my studio at home and built a demo from scratch. I watched promos, drama promos on the network. By then we had I think we had a TiVo by then. I was watching that. When I was building the demo, I said to my daughter, I remember calling up to her and saying, "Hey, what's like one of the really cool, best songs right now? I want to put it on this demo." And she told me what it was. I'll tell you what it is after I play this. But let's see. I have the NBC promos. I have the demo somewhere, and I thought I had it right here. Boy, I've dropped the ball on 2 things here. NBC promos, the Fox NBC comparison. Oh, I do have that. Let's play it.
Sunday, catch a classic episode of The Simpsons.
But most of all, get there early for the big news.
It's a night of all new episodes, starting at 8/7 Central, Fox Sunday.
A night of incredible finales, Sunday on NBC.
I found it. Here is the actual demo that I produced in my studio. Just cobbled it together, asking my daughter, what's a good song to use? And it's just audio, so here you go.
The hunt continues. Form a posse and find the fugitive. They looked like the perfect family. He seemed like the perfect son until he met someone.
What's that, Coke? Something better. Heroin.
Who brought it all crashing down. It moves at 25 miles per hour.
Got the record. Let's move it out of here.
It burns at over 1,500 degrees. And there's no way to stop it. No one would have believed in the last years of the 19th century that this world was being watched keenly and closely. A passenger with a past. 6 rebels on the run. An empire in pursuit. This fall, the cult phenomenon, hailed by critics as fresh and original. Serenity.
All the girls stomp your feet like this.
You can't stop the signal. Spend this Valentine's Day
He loves me not.
with someone you love,
He loves me.
someone you trust,
He loves me not.
and someone you know
He loves me.
won't try to kill you.
So, all the girls in a dance like this. That's the song that Dana had said, that's a real hot song right now. You got to put it in there. If anybody, I know you know what that is. I can't remember who it's a girl group, who it was. But if you could put it in the comments, I would appreciate it. I remember hearing you on CBS. I was like, why is this guy who voices Fox now at CBS? Well, thank you. Thank you very much. Yeah, I mean, it's completely different, right? It doesn't sound anything like me. Hot production. Thank you. I did it all myself. And, oh, yes, it is Gwen Stefani. What's the name of the song? Gwen Stefani, all the girls. I know you're going to come up with it real quick. So that was the demo that I put together. Yes, that's what it is. Ain't no holla back girl. And you know what? I have to thank Dana, my beautiful daughter, for coming up because, I really think that, listen, everything goes into the mix, right? And it was a cool song that was now. It was today. It was hot. And it wasn't being used in anything because nobody was licensing it, but I put it in my demo. So I sent it to Rita Venari, my beautiful agent of 15 years at the time. I was with her for over 26, 27 years. And I said, hey, Rita, I did this demo. I want to go after that NBC drama gig. And I caught her off guard and on the phone, and she laughed. And she said, Joe, you're a comedy voice and you're very good at it. And I said, okay, thank you. I sent her the demo. She called me back within seconds and she said, oh my freaking God. And she didn't say freaking because, she represented Ernie Anderson, who used 4-letter words, every other word. And so she had to keep up. She said, if I had just played this cold, not knowing who it was from, I would have no idea that it was you. And I was like, yeah, that's exactly what I want. I don't want to be me. I've been me on Fox and CBS. And quite frankly, how many other networks can I go to, right, with this voice? I mean, it's got to be played. It's like, man, him again? So, obviously, I was my favorite videos of one of Ernie's sessions. Yeah, they're hilarious. Exactly. You can look that up on YouTube as well. So I lost half my income. We have a vacation, summer vacation, going to Europe, going to Italy. We're going to go to London first. My buddy John Lloyd, who former tennis player, commentator for BBC. He's such a generous guy. We get to use his tickets at Wimbledon, go to London. We do that for a few days. Then we go to Italy. We were in Positano and London, Positano, and Rome. So about a week into the vacation, we're out by the pool in Positano. I was already nervous about this anyhow. Thankfully, I'd paid for a portion of the trip, but it was like, I just lost half my income and we're going on this really nice trip to Italy, staying at La Serenuse in Positano, like 2 rooms overlooking the beautiful sea. And it's like, I don't have this money anymore. So we're in Positano by the pool outside, and to check email, you would have to, internet at this time. This was in the 2000s, early 2000s. You'd have to, there was Wi-Fi, but you couldn't get it at the pool. So it kind of had to go over close to the hotel and kind of huddle up with my laptop and check in. And I checked in and it was an email from Rita. She was forwarding an email from an executive at NBC. Her message to me on top of the forwarded email was, now what? And I looked below. The message from NBC was, Rita, thank you so much for the demos. We really like Joe, and we want to start using him. That email really made the vacation. And I wrote back to her. I said, yeah, I'll tell you what, we're going to NBC every freaking day. So the rest of the vacation was a beautiful celebration. I think we also went to Lake Como on that trip to Villa d'Este, which is a beautiful, beautiful spot. One of my most favorite spots in the world. And when we got back to LA, NBC, true to form, started booking me every day. And nobody knew it was me. Once I hit the air on NBC, the people in marketing, the people in promos, in voiceover, agents, talent, they were all scratching their head and saying, who is this guy? Who's this new guy that they're using on NBC? My New York agent, who was at that time only handled New York, great agent, got me, Food Network in the 90s and 2000s and a lot of great work, but they not involved with my promo work in Los Angeles. There was a kind of a territory division there. And I called my New York agent and said, hey, what do you think of that new voice on NBC? And he's like, who the hell is it? Who is that voice? I've called everyone that nobody knows who that voice is. How does this voice just come out of nowhere? You don't just end up at NBC with no experience, no anything. Who the hell is this guy? And I said, it's me. And he said, it's you. And yeah, right. It's you. And I said, yeah, it really is me. I came up with a drama promo demo. And this was the work that they were hearing on the air.
Next Sunday, the West Wing reunion event is finally here.
Getting together the old band.
Rob Lowe returns for the ultimate West Wing offer.
Deputy Chief of Staff, I'll think about it.
A night of old friends and new beginnings.
Who said anything about talking?
It's down to the final 3 episodes before the series finale.
We're gonna leave with some class.
An all-new West Wing, next Sunday, 8/7 Central on NBC. Next on ER. It's down to the final 2 incredible episodes of the season.
Let's go!
For Dr. Clemente.
What's wrong with you? What are you, my mom?
The pressure.
Listen, babe. I don't need you.
Will finally take its toll.
Take it on!
But most of all, get there early for the big news. All new ER, next on NBC. Friday, it's another all-new Deal or No Deal. Then, Monday, it's a 2-hour event with special guest Regis Philbin.
Or no deal. Final answer. Deal. Final answer.
Then Jay Leno sweetens the deal.
Hey, how's it going?
And a husband away at war. A touching visit from Iraq.
We got a bunch of Marines here for support.
This show has it all. An unbelievable 2-hour Deal or No Deal event. Monday on NBC. Sunday at 7/6 Central, a night of incredible finales on NBC. Starting with the West Wing's very first episode.
Talk about impressive.
Followed by the West Wing series finale. Be there as an era comes to an end.
Make me proud, Mr. President.
Then, the 2-hour season finale of Law & Order Criminal Intent.
Some days you just get lucky.
With an incredible case, teens burning churches.
Start talking.
A night of incredible finales, Sunday on NBC.
I came up with that voice just by coming up close to the microphone and trying to talk in a whisper. And I don't think NBC ever realized that their brand new drama voice had been the comedy voice of Fox since 1988. They really didn't. They had no idea. They thought I'd been there for 18 years as the comedy voice of Fox. They thought they discovered me, which is weird. It was kind of strange that they were like, huh, they didn't know anything about my background, which was funny. And all of my friends, after they figured out that it was me, like there's one mixer, Billy Redmond at CBS, who we were at a party once, and we were doing. It was kind of like a roast for our friend Scott Turow, his birthday, and everybody was roasting everybody. And Billy had gotten up, and then he turned to me and he goes, "Joe, and why are you whispering all the time at NBC? Speak up." So now every day I'm doing Fox comedies. I drive there to Pico. Then I drive over the hill to Burbank to do dramas. Same person, same day, completely different identity. And my voice coach, Maurice Tobias, who you may have heard of, I told her that I was kind of struggling with this. The Fox energy kept bleeding into the NBC sessions. In that thing I just played, it was very rare that they let me do a Deal or No Deal promo. I mean, I was the announcer for Deal or No Deal at some point for, their entire run, but I really didn't do anything, that would take me out of the whisper, because they just didn't want to break that sound. So I was struggling a little bit when I'd be doing these Sunday. It's an all new Simpsons, blah, 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 and then hopping in the car and driving to NBC. And then I'm going to be doing this, on all these promos for ER and Heroes and all of that. And I said, so I need something to help me. She said, well, okay, so when you go to Fox, how are you dressed? I go, it's summer. Sometimes I'm wearing shorts or, like linen slacks and a polo shirt and sneakers. And she said, okay, so that's your comedy wardrobe. She said, when you leave Fox and you're going to NBC, you do go right. You live in Beverly Hills. So you're coming from the West Side, going right by your house over to Burbank, stop at your house and change your clothes, change into all black. Okay. She said, now you go to NBC, you're dressed in black, and that is your visual cue that now you're Drama Joe. And I thought, wow, that is pretty cool. It's kind of like, it's kind of like what? Clark Kent and Superman, for voiceover. And it worked. I was able to do the comedy voice at Fox in my regular summertime attire, dress in all black, go to NBC, and turn into drama.
Sunday, catch a classic episode of The Simpsons.
But most of all, get there early for the big news.
It's a night of all new episodes, starting at 8/7 Central, Fox Sunday.
A night of incredible finales, Sunday on NBC.
Same guy, two voices, one wardrobe change. So that's what's happening tonight. That's episode 8. 2 stories about things not being what they seemed. A technology that quietly changed the world, and one wardrobe change that turned Fox Joe into drama NBC Joe. And before we go, your old AOL screen name and your own Headspace trick, drop them below. I want to see what you got in the comments. Thanks so much for being with us. Let me jump over to the, let's see, I've seen both. That's a comment about something else. That was when Joe turned into Scrooge McDuck and swimming pools of cash, doing both networks. Holy crap. That was you. That's what people said. Exploring your lower range certainly was to your advantage. It really was. Needed a trigger like a Batman mask. Yeah. Or dressing in all black. Thank you guys for being here again this Thursday. Of course, this will be available on demand, and we will be back next Thursday for more fun. Please tune in to TikTok, Instagram. I'm constantly posting things throughout the week, and things that we'll talk about, in the Thursday show. I appreciate you guys flashing back with me. You're welcome. I'm glad you had fun with the show. I'm going to bid you adieu, and I'll see you next week.